Polls are quick and don't take much time at all. Surveys are a little lengthier and may take more time for the customer to fill out. Don't overdo it on the survey questions, and people aren't going to fill it out. No one fills out polls if it takes more than a few minutes to do them. Try to keep your surveys to around 2 to 3 minutes in length at the most. Anything more than that, and you're pushing away your customers. You can also ask customers who are subscribed to your list if they'd like to take a survey in exchange for a discount or freebie. Those people might be willing to sit through a longer survey since they are so fond of your store that they subscribed to your email list. You may think that the only people who read blogs are customers. If that's what you think, then it's time to change your thought process. It doesn't matter if you're a blogger or someone who buys advertising. You've got to know what's going on in your industry. Blogs are the only way you'll ever have a firm grasp of what's going on in your industry. The news media can be slow, and stories have a way of being put on the back burner. Blogging cuts right to the chase, since most bloggers want to be the first to announce something. A blogger will get viral traffic if they are the first person to break a news story. How do you know when a blog has new posts? You subscribe to the blog's RSS feed. That's the simplest way for you to get notified when the site posts new content. You can also accept their push notifications if the site offers them. You do want to read the latest blog posts when they come out. It's crucial that you don't flood yourself with messages of new posts. That's why you only want to subscribe to the sites that matter the most to you. If you subscribe to 100 feeds, then nothing is going to come out of it. Keep the number to something manageable that you can read. Anything more than that, and you're only doing it to make yourself feel like you're doing research. Some blogs have been online for years, and they might have hundreds of posts. How many of these posts should you read? It depends on how on topic they are. It wouldn't be too surprising if a few of the posts weren't on topic at all. Read all of the relevant posts that you have the time for. Find 2 or 3 blogs that nail your niche perfectly and read those. You can always move on to the not-so-hot blogs after you've read those. You don't want to have so many blogs lined up that you feel overwhelmed. If that happens, then you probably won't read any of them. Everyone reacts the same way when there's a big pile of work to do, and you're no different. Sometimes marketers need a quick dose of reality before things set in. The reality is, you don't know your niche well enough to make money. If you're in the early phases of promoting a niche, then you probably have no idea what you're doing. Those who are honest with themselves and acknowledge their lack of knowledge will go a lot further. The very first thing you should do before buying a domain or looking for an offer to promote is to define your objective. Zero in on what your goals are. Don't be too small when it comes to listing your objectives. The list should read as a to-do list of things that you need to do. The first thing you need to do is to find out who your ideal customer is. From there, you need to understand where they hang out online. After that, then you start to find products to promote. Then, you buy a domain, a design, and hosting. Did you notice how the implementation of your ideas was last? You don't buy the domain first and then find out where your customers hang out. The reason you don't go that route is because you want to make sure that the product or offer is worth promoting. You're doing it all backward if you plan your site first and then see if there's money to be made. Save your time and cash and do the research first. Sometimes you'll find that a niche isn't worth pursuing and investing your money in. Doing market research is pretty cut and dry. Part of that research is to understand how much money you can make in your niche. How much you earn will be determined primarily by your willingness to work hard, but you can't set your sights on becoming a millionaire overnight. Failure has a way of making people less likely to work on a project, and you won't even try if your goals are set too high. Social media is an excellent place for a brand to get feedback on their product or service. You obviously don't want to ask the public for feedback if you think your product sucks. It's not going to end very well if you have a constant stream of people bashing your product. Though the exposure to your content by interaction can be a good way of getting organic traffic to your social account. The social media sites will show content with a lot of interaction to those who aren't following you. It's easy for anyone to complain online. Some social networking sites are laxer in their rules than others. Twitter, for example, allows people to use any screen name they want. Someone can start up an account with the sole purpose of being a troll. It does happen, and you need to be aware of it. It's possible with some of the sites to delete or hide comments that you don't think are too friendly. But this is the last resort, as you don't want to be seen as someone who disregards freedom of speech. There are two reasons why you want to get feedback from your customers, and the first is that you want interaction with your content. The second is that you do want feedback about your products. Sometimes it's best to have a new pair of eyes looking at your products. It's not only the products that you have to be concerned about, but the entire buying process as well. The customer needs to have a flawless experience from start to finish when they're buying from you. The product they receive might be great, but the process of buying it may not be. There is no information that's useless when you're asking for feedback unless the person is a troll who is seeking attention. You will be able to spot trolls quickly after you've worked in your niche long enough. Not all criticism is created equal. Sometimes customers have a bad day and they want to take it out on you. You are their punching bag, and there's not much you can do about it. It's understandable that you'd get frustrated in a situation like that. Thankfully, not all criticism is of that nature. Sometimes people have a legitimate beef about your product or service. You can't immediately toss their opinion into the wastebasket without first determining if what they're saying is legit. Sometimes customers will criticize you and not be angry. Don't think that all criticism comes from a place of anger. You might be able to talk to the customer and ask them why they aren't happy. Listen to what they say and try your best to encourage them to be forthcoming. What you're trying to do here is understand why they aren't happy. You want to make sure not to repeat this same mistake over and over again. You see, the angry customer might be making your business better. They might be doing that by telling you how you can fix your business. Imagine how big of a help they could be if they are stopping a bigger problem from manifesting. They may be going to help you nip something in the bud. Once you've learned why the person is unhappy, now it's your chance to do something about it. You will either have to brainstorm or have people from your team work together to find a solution. If you're a one-person business, then it's time to have a talk with yourself in the mirror. You might also hire freelancers or have virtual assistants, and you want to talk to them too. You need to find a solution to the problem, and it's not going to fix itself. By addressing the issue as soon as it's discussed, you stand a better chance of avoiding any problems in the future. Those problems may be costly, and they may hold you back from the type of success that you're about to achieve. There is no such thing as too much information when it comes to digital marketing. That's why sites like Facebook try to get as much information about you as possible. They even know what websites you're visiting outside of Facebook. Why do you care what device your customers are using? You care because you want to target your advertising to them. You should be advertising on a platform that allows you to focus on a specific device. This is vital since there are many types of products that work best for those on a desktop or on a mobile device. Sure, most people using desktop also have a smartphone, but it's a waste of your money to advertise your smartphone app to someone on a computer. You'd think that this would be common sense. It isn't. You also don't want to advertise software for computers to those who are using a smartphone. There may be exemptions to the rule, and one could be business software. If you've got an Excel alternative for the PC, then maybe it's not such a bad idea to show your ad to people using a smartphone. But, generally speaking, it's a bad idea to advertise anything that can't be used on the device the person is using at the moment. The prized visitor is someone who is using an Apple desktop or laptop. Why? Those Apple users tend to have more money. The fact that they're using an Apple product almost guarantees that they have more money than the average person. This could also be said about the iPhone, but they do have some mid-range phones. Typically, people who use anything made by Apple have more money than the average person. If you're promoting something like high-ticket luxury items, then focus on getting traffic from Apple computer users. You'll have a higher conversion rate since they are more likely to spend bigger bucks. You might also want to narrow down the Apple users to specific regions or even zip codes if possible. The more targeted your traffic is, the more likely it is to convert. As you do market research, you're going to gather all kinds of data. The vast majority of data that you collect will end up being useless. Even the most skilled marketers end up with data that they can't use. It's not a problem with the process, it's just how data collection works. You go out there and try to learn as much as you can about your potential customers. You don't know that the information you're saving is useless. You only see that it's useless after you've found out who your target customer is. What is useless data? It might be blogs that you decided to look at that you aren't going to follow. It could be social accounts that you deem are too spammy or useless. You might also build up a database of forum users who you think might be able to help you out in the early promotion phase of your online business. You probably have an entire desktop full of text files that have all kinds of useless information in them. What do you do when you need to get a hold of someone quickly, and their information is in one of the text files? You have to go through every text file until you find the right person. Sometimes you might even forget who you're looking for after opening up several text files. If you're the type who likes to be messy, then you can have areas on your computer that are a total mess. Some places on your desktop need to be free from clutter. You might consider having a folder with everything you need in it. The bottom line is, keep everything organized in a way where things are easily found. Keep all the relevant data in one easy-to-use location. If you don't want to toss away the other stuff because you think it'll be useful someday, then put it in its own folder. Whatever you do, don't pack everything together in hopes that someday you'll be able to find a needle in a haystack. You're not going to find the needle, and it'll do nothing but slow you down. Hashtags are one of those things that you either love or hate. There seems to be no middle ground when it comes to hashtags. If you're new to social media, then you probably overuse hashtags as well. It's not unheard of for people to think that loading their content with hashtags will drive traffic. Too many hashtags have a way of drowning out all the others. But this tip is all about keeping an eye on hashtags and not using them yourself.